So everyone is talking about AI agents nowadays and how people are making millions of dollars by building them. So let's build this travel AI agent which helps you plan your trip by providing things like day-wise itinerary with respect to your budget, travel tips, latest flight details, along with a real-time chat interface if you have any more further questions from it. All of this without even writing a single line of code with this super trending AI tool called Lovable. So click the link in the description down below and you will land on Lovable. And as it says over here, Lovable is your superhuman full stack engineer, which it is because you can ask it to create any type of app, whether it's a front end only app or a full stack app, it can easily do that. So let me just go on and sign in first over here. I'm going to sign in with Google. All right, there we go. I am in. And when you're getting started, you will get some amount of free credits as well. And if you use the link in the description down below, you can get even additional points to get started. Alright, so this is a very high level workflow of the AI agent that we will be building. So first of all, we will be taking the input from the user, source, destination, the date of travel, the budget, number of travelers, and what are the interests of that particular user. And we will validate to see if that input is valid or not. If it's not, then again, obviously we will display them the error and ask them to, enter it again. But if their input is valid, now, this is the most important part of this workflow. So basically how AI agents work is you have a API of, let's say, OpenAI or Gemini, right? So you can ask it simple question and it can give you simple answers as well, right? But what makes an AI agent special is its superpower. In this case, it's the ability of fetching the real-time flights data. Basically the current flights data, right? So what we will do, we will use something called its SERP API and we will fetch all of the latest flights, let's say from Delhi to New York, right? So it will provide us with all of these flights data which Gemini API cannot, and we will take this data, provide it to the Gemini API, and along with this data and all of the other information, like for example, generating the daily itinerary, travel tips, accommodation, and other things that we will ask it to generate, it will give us the response over here, right? It will get all of this data, it will process this data, and it will generate the travel recommendations. If the recommendations are ready, we will display it, else we will display the error, right? And obviously I have not included one more step over here. After this, we can also chat with that particular response, right? We can also chat with our travel agent. That will be the complete use case of such an app, right? You can also fetch something like the hotel data or other real-time stuff, right? And you can add to this AI agent. So let's go on and see how we can build this. Right over here, you can describe the app that you're trying to build. You can see it gives us certain suggestions that we're trying to build, or even we have a template section over here. You can see a lot of beautiful templates over here, which you can use to get started, right? So anyways, we don't need to worry about all of these. We will start from absolute scratch. If you have any, design, like Figma design, you can also import that over here, or you can import an image or something for inspiration, right? So it's fully customizable, right? So let's get started. I'm going to say build a travel planning AI agent using Gemini API because Gemini API has a free tier, right? So that is what we will be using. And I'm going to say we will input following from the user, right? Now, what are all the things that we will be requiring inside of this app? To get started, we can just take the source, destination, the date of travel, right? Or dates of travel, user's budget, number of travelers, and the interests. And also we don't want to use, more advanced Gemini API. So let's just ask it to use Gemini 1.5 Flash model, right? So let's just see. Let's just start with just this and see what it gives us. So I'm going to press enter. And there we go. It has started working on our app. It has taken our prompt right here. And okay, so first of all, it's taking some design inspirations from websites like Airbnb and Expedia. So this is cool. So it's basically acting like a product manager over here as well, right? Then for the first version of our app, it's trying to build a beautiful form to collect travel preferences. Okay, integration with Gemini AI. Nice. It has defined the design elements and now you can see it is writing the code as well. So it's using Tailwind CSS, Gemini AI integration. You can see it's prompting Gemini AI in like as follows, like act as a travel planning expert, create a detailed travel itinerary. Oops, let's go back over there. So, okay, it has it in the travel form and everything. So let's see what do we get in the first version of our app. Okay, so looks like it has finished working on it, but build was unsuccessful. And this generally happens because of some error or something like that, right? But no worries, we can click on try to fix it over here. And this will actually prompt itself with the error. And we'll try to work on this error to fix this. And you can see this error occurs because border class is being used in CSS. Okay, let's wait. All right, there we go. It has fixed the error and we have the first version of our app right here. Amazing. So let's try to fill this form. I'm going to say source location Delhi, destination can be Hanoi. Start date, let's say 6th to 8th. Budget, let's say $1,000. Number of travelers 1. Interest, I'm going to say food. And let's click on plan my trip. And obviously this will not work because we have not yet added our Gemini AI API key, right? So there we go. Please enter your Gemini AI key in the settings to continue. So, okay, but how do we add it? Let's ask it. Add Gemini AI API key. And by the way, meanwhile, this is generating the response. Let's just get our API key. So I'm going to Google Gemini AI API. And there we go. Gemini Developer API right here. Let's click on this and it will land right here. So click on Explore Models in Google AI Studio. So over here, you can see this Get API Key button. You can click on it. And I already have an API key. But if you want to create an API key, click on this button over here. And over here, you can create a new project on Google Cloud. I already have this. So let's just click on over here and create API key in existing project. And there we go. This is what our API key is going to be looking like. I'm going to copy it up and let's put it somewhere safe. I'm just going to put it in this notepad right here for now. Okay, cool. So now if we go back, what does it tells us? I've added a settings dialog where user can enter the API key. Okay, nice. So see, this is what I like about this. If you want to add some API or something, right? Either it will store it in Supabase, which by the way, I will talk about in just a moment how you can, connect Supabase with your app. Or you can also temporarily store your API key right here. It will give you some settings or something like that, right? So let's just add this API key and click on Save Settings. So cool, I guess it would have temporarily added it right over here. Later in this video, we will go on and add a .env file and then, add it over here. So let's just try it out. I'm gonna enter Delhi, again Hanoi. Let's click on Plan My Trip. And it is generating the plan for us. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, the travel plan has been generated and amazing. You can see our travel itinerary right here. But this is not what we want, right? We want it more beautifully crafted. So this is basically a markdown syntax. So what I'll ask it to do, format the response in markdown syntax. Okay. And we have this select button over here so that we can exactly tell it where to work. So I'm going to tell it this thing right here. Format this response in the markdown syntax. Let's see if it works. I'm going to click on go. And now you can see it has used this React Markdown library that we generally use. And I clicked on Plan My Trip again. And now you can see this is much more beautiful, right? Obviously, you can prompt it even more to make it even prettier. But yeah, this is good for the first version, right? Okay, so now that we have done it, let's integrate that flights API to get the data related to the current flights, right? Because if we ask it to do the same, Gemini might give the old response, right? So what I'll say, I'm going to say add an optional checkbox to get the transportation details using SERP API, flights API. Okay, so let's Google SERP API. Okay, Google Flights API. And there we go. This is exactly what we want. Let's go on and sign in over here. I'm going to sign in with Google. Okay, and we are in and you will see interface something like this. You can see this is my API key. So this is exactly what we will be using. But let's just ignore it for now. And let's go to Google Flights API again. There we go. Okay, so over here, there are a bunch of different things over here that we can use inside of it. But this is the JSON structure that we need to worry about over here. Right, so it gives us something like arrival, airports, other flights, etc., etc. You know what? Let me just copy this response over here from this, and for now, I'm just gonna paste it right here in my VS Code just to see how this data looks like. So I believe the best flights is what we will be needing. So let me just remove these dots over here. Other flights, I don't think we will be needing this. Price insight, no. Airports, no. So okay, let me just get rid of all of these things. So inside the best flights, this is what we will generally see. So I think this is the array where we will be getting the response. Okay. Apart from this, let's see. Yeah, we have this get link over here, which we can use. So you can see departure ID from this ID to this. And we can see the outbound date over here where we will be leaving. We don't need the return date. We will be using this API. Let's copy it and paste it right here. And keep in mind, this SERP API gives you, I think, around 100 free API calls. So first of all, we will, first provided the mock data. But let's see, in this API over here, we will say engine Google Flights. And I'm going to say and type to be 2. So type 2 basically means this is one way, not returned. If you want, you can do return as well. But for now, just to show, I'm gonna remove this return date over here. And okay, we have departure ID and arrival ID. Let's just use some example over here. For departure, I'm gonna say Delhi Airport, and arrival, I'm gonna say HAN for Hanoi Airport. Let's keep outbound date as 7/2/2025 currency. And after this as well, we would need to give our API key. So I'm going to say and API underscore key equals whatever our API key is over here, right? So you can get it from, as I showed you earlier, you can just go to your profile and this is where you will find your API key. So let me just paste it over here. And for now, I'm just going to copy it up and put it right over here. So we'll come back to this. But first, what we will do, let's just take this response that we have over here and I'm going to provide it to Lovable. So I'm going to say add an optional checkbox to get transportation details using SERP API Flights API. Okay. And I'll say here's the mock response for SERP API. Let's use this mock response for now. Later on, we will integrate the real API. And actually, let's just take the response from over here. I'm just going to enter it and you can see we got this response. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing up, paste it inside of my VS Code, and let's remove the things that we are not going to be needing. So again, I'm just going to keep the best flights object from over here, right? So let's remove this search metadata, search parameter. Let me just shrink all of these real quick. So let's get rid of all of these things and both of these things from over here. So this is the detail that we will be providing to, Lovable. How many flights are over here? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 flights. Let me just remove one of them. And let's just provide this much data to Lovable. I'm just going to copy it up. And right here, I'm going to enter, I'll say dash and enter this response over here, right? And I think, yeah, that should be good enough. Let's click on go and see what it does. Okay, so it's saying let's add a checkbox to the travel form to optionally include transportation details. Okay, so what it should do over here is it should take this response from this API and provide it to our Gemini API. So okay, it has edited 2 files right here. Okay, it has added the mock data and there we go. You can see it has added this include transportation details checkbox over here. Okay, let me just try it again. I'm going to say Hanoi. And now let's just include transportation details. Moment of truth. Let's see if it works or not. So it's generating our plan. Okay, travel plan has been generated. It is going to tell us the travel itinerary and everything. And there we go. We have available flights right here, right? This is the current flights data that it has got for us, like option 1, option 2. Let's just ask it to, make it a little bit beautiful, right? Okay, so I've given it this prompt, organize the available flights into the table format, and it has done the same. And also give user the link to book it from the mock data provided earlier. So whatever link that it would have provided, it would take us to that particular page. Awesome. So now I guess the only thing remaining over here to actually make this working, right? So what I'll do, I'll take this right here and actually instead of providing it our API key, I'm going to say API underscore key over here, or say your API key, and I'll just provide it with this URL. And I'll say, let's integrate the SERP API now. And I'm going to give it this URL. It's saying that we can either use Supabase to store our API key securely, or we can create an input form to enter. It's like for now, we will do the same thing, just like we've done for our Gemini API key, right? We won't be needing Supabase for project like such a small project over here, right? But if you wanted to store all of this data inside of your backend, you can just click on the Supabase button and you can see I've already connected my Supabase over here. You can click, you can create any project on Supabase and you can just choose the organization and click on connect over here, like something like this. right? It's super easy and this will handle everything for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see me build a full stack app using this Lovable, right? So anyways, moving forward, let's see what it has done. Let's do the same. If I click on over here, okay, nice. So let me just add my API key over here and click on save settings. Great. Let's try to do this again. I'm going to click on plan my trip. It is generating the plan. And now it should give us more updated response. Okay, it has given us the response, but an error has occurred. Let's see. This is a cross-origin resource sharing error. This means, okay. So it's telling us there's some cross-origin error over here, which it cannot fix. Let's still try to fix it, right? I'm going to click on over here and let's see what it does. Okay, so looks like it did work and I tried to generate it again and it has given me my travel itinerary along with all of these available flights right here. Amazing. Now, similarly, you can probably add more features to this app by integrating more, real-time APIs and make it a more robust travel agent or travel AI agent. Right now, the next thing that I want to do over here is implement a chat feature after getting this first response. So I'm going to say, great, now implement a chat feature after getting the first response. So let's see what it does. It's writing this chat.tsx file over here. Okay, looks like it was done, but the build was unsuccessful. Let's try to fix it. Okay, I think it got fixed now. Let's try it again. I've entered all of my details right here and include transportation details. Let's click on plan my trip. And now this should hopefully give us a chat option as well. Okay, the plan has been generated. We have the itinerary, the available flights, and the assistant chat right here. Okay, so let's ask, let's just see the itinerary right here. Let's just say Hanoi Emerald Water Hotel and Spa. Let me just ask it more about it. Tell me more about this hotel right here. Okay, so what specific details would you like to know? What do people like about it? Okay, looks like it's not working. It's just simply giving me this. Let me just ask it to do it again. The chat is not working. It's asking me this every time. So let me just paste this right here and go. And you know what? I will ask it, make sure to use Gemini API for this chat, just in case it has, hard coded this chat or something like that. Okay, let's integrate the Gemini API. So it has created a chat functionality without Gemini API. Oh, never mind. AI hallucinates sometime as well. Okay, so now when I say hi, it's giving me some other response. Let me just ask it this thing again. Okay, there we go. The Hanoi Emerald Water is listed in your itinerary bus old quarter, offering clean, blah, 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 blah. So yep, you can see we have a travel assistant chat on our fingertips as well, right? Amazing. So we have successfully built this app. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to store all of this data in your backend as well, you can, click on this over here, like Supabase button, and you can integrate Supabase as a backend inside of your app, and Lovable does it right out of the box. So you know what, let me just get the whole, code for this project and let's go on and deploy it. So I'm going to click on edit code and click on transfer repository, and this will ask you to connect your GitHub account. I have already done the same. So, okay, let's click on Piyush Eon, and then it will go on and create a brand new repository. Okay, it has done it. Let's open it. Travel Logic Gemini. Okay, let's click on code and I'll copy this link right here. Let's get it inside of our local, and inside of our terminal, I'm going to say git clone and enter the name, like URL of that repository, and it will start cloning it into this folder right here. So, okay, this is our code right here. And if we go inside of, let's say, where is it? Inside of lib, yeah, Gemini.ts. So it would be taking the API keys from that settings, right? So you can see it is taking the API key from the local storage, and this is not what we want. So let's add a .env file over here. So .env, and we will put both of our API keys inside of it. So, okay, we have added both of these right here, and make sure that your, variable contains wheat underscore before it. So, okay, first of all, for the serp API key, instead of this, I'm going to say import.meta.env and then the name of that environment variable. And if we scroll down, we will do the same thing for this one as well, for our Gemini API key. So I'm going to take this variable and paste it right here. Okay. And also we need to go to inside of the pages index.tsx, we have this condition over here. If there's no API key in the local storage, it will throw this error. Since we're using .env now, so we don't need this anymore. So we can remove that. So now this app should work. Let's just go to this terminal and I'm going to say npm install so that it installs all of the dependencies inside of package.json file. All right, now I'm going to say npm run dev to see if our app is working. Let's click on local. All right, amazing. So this is working. Let's go on and deploy it on a VPS server. So click the link in the description down below and you will land on Hostinger. And this is the only hosting provider that you will need to host any type of application. You guys already know how many apps that I've already hosted on Hostinger. And right now they have an amazing sale going on. So make sure that you get your VPS server during this time. They provide features like free real-time snapshot, automatic weekly backups, and also an AI assistant called Cody inside of your dashboard, right? So I'm going to click on start now and you will see we have multiple different plans over here, KVM1, KVM2, etc., right? So all of these are servers that you can use and ensure that your website stays up and scales at the right time, right? Like for example, you can see over here, this is their most popular plan and it provides 2 CPU cores, 8 GB RAM, NVMe disk space to ensure that your website is running smoothly and super fast, and up to 8 TB bandwidth as well. And obviously they have data centers worldwide, even in India as well. They have a new data center in Mumbai now. So we can go on and choose either of these plans right here. So I'm going to click on choose plan. So over here, you can choose the duration that you want this server for. And here we go. We got the flat 66% off. And not just this, I'll also provide you guys with my own coupon code over here. So I'll say roadside coder and click on apply. And boom, you get an additional 10% off right here and click on continue. Now, obviously, you're supposed to log into your account and make the payments and everything. So I'll be back once I've done it. All right, so now you can see I'm on my Hostinger Edge panel now. And you can click on this VPS tab on the top and you'll see your server listed right here, right? So now I obviously need to go on and set up this first. But you can see we have our expiry date over here for this server as well, right? So let's click on setup and let's click on start now. All right, so now over here, you're supposed to choose your server location which is closest to you or your audience, right? So in my case, it's this location, right? So let's continue. All right, so next we're supposed to select like if you want a plain operating system or a template, etc., right? So what I'll do, I'm going to go to the applications tab and choose this Docker template right here. So you see how easy Hostinger, makes us out of the box for us by, setting up Docker, right? So I'm going to click on select. And now you can see that this comes with a malware scanner as well, right? So your website is protected out of the box. Let's click on continue. All right. And now we're supposed to add an SSH key over here for proper security. So let me click on over here. And yeah, now I'm going to open my terminal and copy this command, paste it right here and replace it with your own email address and press enter. And press enter over here again. Now it's going to ask me my passphrase. So let me just quickly enter it. So I'm actually entering it, but you won't be able to see it, right? And press enter. Okay. Now we need to open this SSH key. So I need to simply do cd.ssh, press enter. And over here, press ls and you will see this file right here, right? So to open this file, I'm going to say cat and then the name of the file, just like this, right? So now let me just copy all of this content over here and paste it here. And let me just name it something. And yeah, that is all we need to do. Now we need to provide the root password over here as well. So now click on save and continue. Okay. So yeah, now we just need to finish the setup. And now it might take some time to set up our VPS. So let's wait. All right, there we go. It's done. Click on this dashboard button right here. So we are inside of our VPS dashboard. Now over here, you can see we have this IP address, right? This is where our website will live. So I'm going to simply copy it up. I'll go back to my VS Code and over here, I'm going to say SSH root @ that IP address and press enter. And now it's going to ask us the passphrase for the key. Now this is the passphrase that we entered earlier inside of our terminal. So I'm going to enter that and press enter. And now, yep, we have successfully SSH'd inside of our VPS server. So since I've already showed you, we used the Docker template, right? So let's see if the Docker is installed over here or not. So I'll say docker -- version. And yep, Docker is installed inside of our server. Alright, now, so to deploy this app on Hostinger or our private server, we would need to create something called as a Docker file with all of these commands right here. Now, if you don't know anything about Docker, that's completely fine. You can go and watch this video to learn more about it. Or if you don't want to know, you can just go to the GitHub repository I've given in the description below, right here. And you can just copy these two files, Docker ignore and Docker file. And again, if you want to learn more about it, you can just go and simply watch this video where I've explained every step on what it is all about. So basically, Docker file helps us make a Docker container so that our app can run on any environment. So cool, since we are already inside of our server over here, what I'll do, let's check what is inside of our server over here. I'm going to say ls. So we just have one folder over here, that is I've deployed one app in the past, but let's forget about it. I'm going to create a new folder for this. So I'm going to say mkdir, and you can say AI travel agent and press enter. So this should have created a folder right here. I'm going to cd to the AI travel agent. Now we need to put all of this code of our app inside of this folder right here, right? So what I'll do, I'll open a new new terminal over here, and I'm going to say scp-r, that is recursively we are going to be copying all of these files, and we would need the path to this particular folder. So you know what, let's just I'm gonna right click over here and say copy path, and then over here in the double quotes I'm gonna paste it. So this is the path to our folder, and then after this I'm gonna say root at the IP address. So our IP address was this right here. I'm gonna paste this over here. So let me just make it small. Yep, something like this. And then I'm gonna say colon. Let me just make it a little bigger. So I'm gonna say colon, and then inside of it we want this folder right here, right? AI travel agent. So I'm gonna add a tilde sign and slash AI dash travel dash agent. And also, by the way, just go to package.json file, and over here we need to do this as well, dash dash host and 0.0.0.0 so that it can run on any server. And yeah, now I think we can press enter, and it should start copying it after I enter my passphrase. There we go. It has started copying all of these files into our server. Let's wait. There we go. It has copied all of these files right here. Now let's go back to our server and let's check. I'm going to say ls. Okay, let's switch to this folder, travel logic Gemini, ls. And yeah, we can see all of these right here. Amazing. Now, the only thing remaining is to build our Docker image inside of it. So I'm going to say Docker build X, so which is used for building our Docker image. And I'm going to say build dash dash platform, and platform is Linux. So Linux slash AMD 64. This is our, server's platform. I'm going to say dash T. The tag will be AI dash agent. Like you can name it whatever you like, right? So I'm going to say AI dash agent :dev, and the location will be dot, like means current folder, right? So I'm going to press enter, and this should start building our Docker image. You can see it is performing npm install over here as well. And there we go. It has successfully built our Docker image. Now I'm going to simply say Docker images to see if it's there. Yep, it is there. Let's try to run this image. So I'm going to say Docker run. And I'm going to say dash D means in the detached mode. And I'm going to say dash P, that is the port of our app, which runs on 8080. So I'm going to say 8080 : and outside of the container, I'm going to say 8080 is where this will be running, right? And I'll say dash dash env dash file, so that it takes this env file that we have right here and space the name of our container, which was AI dash agent : dev, and press enter. And this should run it. What's wrong? Oh, sorry. I forgot to give the env file over here. So after this, I'm going to say .env and press enter now. And there we go. It is running. Let's go and check it out. So I'll take this IP address, and over here, I'm going to say : 8080, and we should see our app. And there we go. Our app is successfully deployed. Amazing. Now, obviously, this is not how you're going to be sharing your app to the world, right? So obviously, you can go back to Hostinger and you can buy a domain name over there as well, right? Hostinger can manage every single thing about your app. So if you like this video, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel for more such awesome tutorials.